Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you're watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm back with another update coming out from the war between Russia and Ukraine, and I've got lots of news I'd like to share with all of you today. So, we had a very big report breaking just earlier this morning from the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky. He announced on Saturday that Ukraine captured two wounded North Korean soldiers in the Kursk region. Okay, as far as I know, this is the first time that North Korean soldiers have been captured alive. They are reportedly in stable condition. Two of them are wounded. You can see in the video footage here, one of them has some sort of wound to his jaw, and also another one reportedly wounded on his leg, but they are in stable condition and in Ukrainian captivity right now. Okay, so this is very big. And I wonder if we're going to hear some sort of response coming out from South Korea soon. And maybe South Korea is going to send a team over to Ukraine to interrogate and speak to these North Korean soldiers that have been captured. Okay, so I've got all the details regarding this story that I can show you today. We've got pictures and video footage, just like what you see here, and also a 3-minute report that was produced by the Ukrainian military talking about where these guys came from, how long they've been in the military, what they had on them at the time they were captured, which units captured these soldiers also from Ukraine. So I've got all those details that I can show you here in just a little bit. And we also had reports last night that the port in Novorossiysk, which is a naval port for Russia's Black Sea Fleet, was attacked. We had a major drone attack ongoing all through the night last night in Russia. Ukraine reportedly targeted multiple regions with drones, and we're hearing that this was probably one of the largest attacks on Russia to date. And I was hearing some reports indicating that hundreds of drones were being used, potentially more than 200. Okay, so it was a very major attack last night. We also had reports that Peko Hell missile drones were being used by the Ukrainians, also targeting certain areas inside of Russia. Then we also have over in the Tatarstan region of Russia, close to the city of Kazan, we had reports that a refinery was reportedly hit by a drone also. Okay, this is about 1,000 kilometers from the border of Ukraine, and a drone reportedly made its way over there and struck a major refinery in the Tatarstan region of Russia. So lots of news coming out today that I want to share with you guys. I want to go ahead and hop into all this news. Let's jump on over to X. We're not going to have any mainstream news to cover today, so we'll start off here with Volodymyr Zelensky. This is the president of Ukraine. Our soldiers have captured North Korean military personnel in the Kursk region. Two soldiers, though wounded, survived and were transported to Kiev, where they are now communicating with the security service of Ukraine. This was not an easy task. Russian forces and other North Korean military personnel usually execute their wounded to erase any evidence of North Korea's involvement in the war against Ukraine. I am grateful to the soldiers of Tactical Group Number 84, the Special Operations Forces, and the Armed Forces of Ukraine, as well as our paratroopers who captured these two individuals. As with all prisoners of war, these two North Korean soldiers are receiving the necessary medical assistance. I've instructed the Security Service of Ukraine to grant journalists access to these prisoners. The world needs to know the truth about what is happening. All right, we've got some photos here we can show you now. So we'll start off with this first one. This is a photo of the cell that one of them is being currently held in. This is number 411. You can see him laying over on this bed on the inside. He's got some water on the chair there. Here's another photo of the man that we had on the video footage when you guys came in on the waiting screen, the man that was injured on his jaw. And then also here's the other one that has some injuries to his leg. So again, as far as we know, only two North Korean soldiers so far have been captured. Looks like his hands may have been injured also. And then here's a military identification that one of them was holding on to. As far as I know, only one of them had identification. And reportedly, I believe this military identification did not even belong to this North Korean soldier. It had ties back to somebody else inside of Russia, from what I understand. So this was a report coming out from Volodymyr Zelensky just today. Here's some more photos also that we have from Knoll Reports. Zelensky and North Korean soldiers captured in Kursk. Our forces have captured two wounded North Korean soldiers in Kursk. Despite Russia's efforts to cover up North Korea's involvement, they survived and are now in Kiev speaking to with SBU investigators. Thanks to the Tactical Group 84 of Ukraine Special Ops and our paratroopers for this operation, these prisoners are receiving medical care. I've instructed the SBU to grant media access to expose the truth. The world must see what's happening. So here's some of the pictures of this military identification card that one of these soldiers were carrying, and allegedly, like I said, had ties back to some sort of Russian man inside the mainland. Here's also another photo of one of these North Korean soldiers inside of the cell that they're being currently held in. And here's a photo of that other one, okay? So these are the two men that have been captured. So now we'll move on to null reports. The SBU released footage of the captured North Korean soldiers in the Kursk region. 2 North Korean soldiers have been captured, one on January 9th by Tactical Group 84 of Special Ops and the other by Ukrainian paratroopers. Neither speaks Ukrainian, English, or Russian, so interrogation is being conducted with Korean interpreters in cooperation with South Korean intelligence. One had a Russian military ID issued to another person from Tuva, while the other carried no documents, the SBU added. Okay, so we've got this video. It's about 3 minutes long. It's an entire report that talks about all these details with these 2 men that have been captured. So go ahead and take a look at this. We'll be right back.
Воїни Сил оборони України взяли у полон перших військовослужбовців Північної Кореї, які воювали за рашистів на Курщині. Таким чином, Служба безпеки України, яка розслідує і документує відповідні злочини, отримала беззаперечні докази участі КНДР у війні РФ проти нашої держави. Йдеться про 2 військових Північної Кореї, одного з яких 9 січня 2025 року захопили бійці тактичної групи номер 84 Сил спеціальних операцій, а іншого – воїни-десантники Збройних сил України. Одразу після взяття у полон іноземцям надали усю необхідну медичну допомогу, як це передбачено Женевською конвенцією.
Соматично вони повністю здорові, але ж мають, що один, що другий, мають хірургічну патологію. Перший має більше челюстно-ліцеве раніння, їм буде займатися наш стоматолог. Другий має поранення, відкрите поранення з переломом нижньої гомілки. Їм надається в повній обсязі медична допомога.
Для проведення першочергових слідчих заходів їх доставили до Києва. Вони утримуються в належних умовах, що відповідають вимогам міжнародного законодавства. Полонені не розмовляють українською, англійською чи російською мовами, тож спілкування з ними відбувається через перекладачів корейської мови у взаємодії із розвідкою Південної Кореї НРС. На момент взяття у полон один із іноземців мав при собі військовий квиток російського зразка, виданий на ім'я іншої особи із реєстрацією у Республіці Тува РФ, а інший взагалі був без документів. Під час допиту військовий КНДР, у якого було знайдено квиток, заявив співробітникам СБУ, що цей документ йому видали в Росії восени 2024 року. Тоді, за його словами, частина бойових підрозділів Північної Кореї протягом 1 тижня проходили злагодження із угрупованнями рашистів. Сам він заявив, що народився у 2005 році, обіймав посаду стрільця і проходив військову службу у Північній Кореї з 2021 року. Примітно, що полонений, так само як і російські військові на початку повномасштабного вторгнення, наголошує, що їхав нібито на навчання, а не на війну проти України. Інший військовополонений підтвердив свідчення свого напарника. Частину відповідей на запитання він давав письмово, оскільки у нього травмована щелепа. За попередніми даними, він 1999 року народження, а у війську КНДР служить із 2016 року на посаді снайпера-розвідника. Наразі СБУ проводить усі необхідні слідчі заходи для встановлення усіх обставин участі військових КНДР у війні РФ проти України. Слідство ведеться за процесуального керівництва Офісу Генерального прокурора за статтею 437 Кримінального кодексу України. А це планування, підготовка, розв'язування та ведення агресивної війни.
All right, so that's the official report coming out from Ukraine, showing these 2 men that have been captured and with all the details, talking about, where they came from. And also, if you notice how young they were, they're right around in their 20s, okay? They're very young and fighting for Russia in this war. And this is the first capture that Ukraine has ever had on North Korean soldiers. And now this is proof that North Korean soldiers are fighting, at least inside of the Kursk region right now, as they have captured them, okay? So very big reports coming out today. Now we're going to move on to Ozen Defender. After Ukraine announced that they captured 2 North Korean soldiers fighting in the Kursk region of Russia, no word yet from South Korea's National Intelligence Service on the matter. However, it is known that South Korea did contemplate sending intelligence personnel to Ukraine in the past, and they would likely be very interested in questioning the 2 captured soldiers. So we'll see what South Korea decides to do. Maybe they'll put out a report here very soon, and maybe they'll start sending some delegations over there to try to speak to these North Korean men who have been captured. Also from Max 24, we're going to move on to talking about these attacks that were happening last night with these drones going into Russia. So this is from, again, Max 24, and it says Ukrainian terrorists are trying to attack Novorossiysk from the air. Air defense is operating in the city. In addition, our guys are repelling drones and missiles over Sevastopol, Kerch, Taman, and the port of Kavkaz. Preliminary, the enemy is working over the Black Sea with NATO spies accompanied by a couple F-16 aircraft and a tanker. One of the most massive UAV attacks on our region is underway. Okay, so as we can see here, it was a very major attack, and some sources were indicating last night that hundreds of drones were being used. And again, like I told you guys, Peko were also being used last night. We have that report here in just a moment. So now from NOAA reports, last night Ukrainian drones hit the port of Novorossiysk in Russia. It is unclear what exactly was hit, but a fire could be seen. Here's a video, very quickly, just 2 seconds, keeps looping, showing a major fire that broke out reportedly at the port of Novorossiysk. This is a major naval port for Russia's Black Sea Fleet. They station their fleet there from time to time. Maybe the fleet was there last night, and this is probably why Ukraine decided to try to attack it. But yeah, it looks like something did catch on fire over here in this city. Also from next, Ukrainian UAVs carried out a massive attack on southern Russia. Residents of Anapa, Zonkoy, Feodosia, Slavyansk on Kuban, and Novorossiysk reported a drone strike in Kotovsk, Tambov region. UAVs even crashed into residential buildings after being shot down by air defense systems. So we've got a couple videos I can show you here. This first one's going to show lots of anti-air gunfire trying to take down these drones incoming to the area. I believe that should be out of Novorossiysk. Then we've got another video that in the very beginning will show a major explosion of a drone potentially crashing or maybe hitting a target somewhere in Russia. And then it looks like an apartment building was also hit in Russia with some drones. So we'll go ahead and start with this first one here.
Слышь, как уебет. Ох, ёбаный в рот.
All right, we can see lots of gunfire over here from the Russian military trying to take down these incoming drones. And then it kind of sounds like towards the end, after this man who was recording was talking, that maybe some anti-air missiles were being fired. Not really sure what that was, or maybe these were strikes by some of these UAVs that were incoming. Don't really know, but definitely some explosions like that one that you see right there. So now we're going to move on to this next video, and just letting you know before we move on to it, it is very loud. You're going to hear like car alarms going off, so just get your ears ready as the video is a little bit loud, okay? So here we go. Okay, I'm going to pause it there because this video is like 20 seconds long and the rest of it is pretty much just this car alarm going off. Don't want to blow your guys' eardrums out more than I already did probably, but we can definitely hear a drone crashing in this residential neighborhood of Russia last night. So now we're going to move on to some more pictures here that we have for you of a residential building that also took a hit from a drone. Now, I don't know if this drone purposely targeted this building. Don't really know. It was most likely suppressed by electronic warfare, or maybe it was shot down and it probably just crashed into one of these residential buildings here, but we can see massive damage to an apartment complex inside of Russia last night, okay? So very crazy. Also, from more translated Dmitry, drones attacked the port of Novorossiysk in Russia. Okay, we've got another video we can show you now of alleged attacks at the port of Novorossiysk, and this man, as he's talking, he almost sounds like he's panicking. He's very worried about these attacks that are ongoing, so it's probably a massive attack over here on the port of Novorossiysk. Take a look at this.
Это порт. В порт прилетело на ПВО.
All right, just a quick clip, but we can see that this man is panicking. Maybe he was running away from the port as he heard these drones coming in. You could even see a flash there, probably another drone that was crashing into the port. So like I said, guys, major attack on this port last night. We don't have any reports as to, if maybe the Black Sea Fleet was stationed there, if any of the ships were hit. Don't really know too much information coming out, but if I do get more info, I will let you guys know in a later video. Now for Max 24, according to Ukrainian monitoring channels, Ukrainian Peko Hell ground launch missile technology was used at night. Strikes preliminary. And it says port in Novorossiysk, gas pumping station in Anapa, air defense complexes in Belgorod, Voronezh, and Kursk regions. Okay, so lots of regions coming under attack last night. And the Peko Hell missile drone reportedly being used quite a bit in multiple regions we can see here. All right, now on to another update from Jay in Kiev. Quite a night so far with Ukraine hitting Russia in several regions simultaneously. So look at all these regions that were attacked last night, guys. Novorossiysk, Sevastopol, that's down in Crimea, Kerch down near Crimea also, Taman, Kavkaz Port, Voronezh, Kursk, Saratov, Lipetsk, and Anapa. Sounds like it's mainly petroleum industry targets. Okay, so I don't have any video footage of any petroleum industries that were being struck last night, but if I do get that information again, I'll let you guys know. But definitely lots of regions being attacked from all these drones, okay? Definitely a massive attack. Also from Jurgen and Audit, one of the largest refineries in the Russian Federation, Peko, is on fire, according to Rosmi. Unknown drones flew to Tatarstan, 1,000 kilometers from Ukraine, and paid a visit. So we've got a video we can show you guys here of this facility that was supposedly attacked by drones 1,000 kilometers from the border. Take a look at this. All right, definitely looks like it's on fire there. We can see lots of smoke coming from the top of that. So some sources were just stating in the beginning that there was just a fire that broke out here, but from what I do understand, this was a drone directly striking this, and considering it's only 1,000 kilometers from the border of Ukraine, Ukraine does have the capabilities to attack this place. So looks like we did have a direct strike there on that oil refinery. Now on to Euromaidan Press. Frontline report, Ukrainian forces near Sutsa successfully repel Russian mechanized assault after 2-kilometer advance towards Makhnova. Swift defensive ops from Ukrainian positions block Russian units emerging from the forest. Okay, so this was a report coming out from the Kursk region today. We haven't talked too much about Kursk recently, so just wanted to give you a quick update that Euromaidan Press was sharing was on the southeastern front of the Kursk offensive right now. This is Ukrainian territory down here. And then this side above this white line is where Ukraine is currently controlling inside of the Kursk region. And it was down here on the southeastern portion where Russia tried to push into Ukrainian-controlled territory near the town of Makhnovka. And allegedly they had blocked them and pushed them back out, okay? So that was a new report just coming in today. Here's a couple other photos showing some of the units that were trying to press into this area and the defensive positions from the Ukrainians. So that's a new report, again, coming out from the Kursk region. Here's another one from Kursk, also from Max 24. Ukrainian officials warned that if their troops were to retreat back across the border from Kursk region, 60,000 troops Russia has deployed would follow them into Ukraine and occupy more land, according to the Washington Post. Last month, 400 to 500 North Korean troops launched an assault on Ukrainian positions, outnumbering the Ukrainian station there by at least 6-1. The battle lasted 8 hours until Ukrainian side ran out of bullets and had to retreat. Okay, so that's a new report. I didn't even hear about this at first, that apparently they had to retreat when North Korean troops launched a major assault onto them in the Kursk region. But yeah, I mean, this is very obvious. We've already heard this from Ukraine. This is apparently the whole reason why they opened up this front in the Kursk region, was partially to draw many of the Russian troops from the eastern side to alleviate some of the pressure over there so that Ukrainian soldiers can hold back the Russian troops on the eastern side, primarily in the Donetsk region. But also this was to prevent another major operation from the Russians that were preparing to attack Sumy, okay, which is just over the border from where the Kursk region is at, okay? So they're still holding on strong over there as far as I know. Also from the Ukrainian Review, Russia plans to discuss new security agreements with Trump that would imply a rollback of NATO on its eastern borders, according to the Financial Times. Putin's goal in any talks is new security agreements that guarantee that Ukraine never joins NATO and that the U.S.-led military alliance abandons some eastern deployments. So we know that that Donald Trump and Putin could potentially be speaking very soon. I think they might talk before Trump even gets into office. I've heard of a report from Fox News just the other day that was talking about that. And we keep hearing this from the Russian side that we know that Russia does not want Ukraine to join NATO, but Ukraine is seeking NATO right now. Okay, that's definitely something that they really want, and they believe that that's really the only security agreement that is viable for Ukraine to protect them from ever being attacked by Russia again. So I'm not sure how this is going to be resolved. If Ukraine wants to get into NATO, but Russia doesn't want them to join NATO, this could definitely make this war continue, but we'll see what happens. That was a new update coming out today. Also from NOAA reports, Russian monitoring channels report a massive DDoS attack on major fixed and mobile telecom operators in Crimea. They add that technical teams are actively countering the attacks and are trying to implement necessary measures to restore stability. So it looks like we had a major DDoS attack. I'm assuming it came from Ukraine, but we don't really know for sure. This was down in Crimea, okay? So new reports of a DDoS or cyber attack down in Crimea. Also from Anton Gerashenko, the fire at the oil depot in Russian Engels cannot be extinguished for the fourth day. Russian Telegram channels report local authorities claim it has been extinguished by 80% and the amount of smoke has also decreased, but local residents say otherwise. The smog is still thick in the city and it is difficult to breathe. Okay, so we know that there has been declared like a state of emergency over here in this area in the city of Engels. Right next to the Engels 2 military air base. This is the Combinat Crystal oil depot that we reported just about 3 to 4 days ago as it was attacked by Ukrainian drones. And this thing is continuing to explode. You can see here in the video footage, and more tanks are catching on fire. So very big disaster over here in this area. And this is going to put a major hamper on the Engels 2 air base. This is where they get a lot of their oil from to fuel their bomber fleets that launch missile attacks onto Ukraine. So very massive strike from the Ukrainians there. That thing is still burning. Also from Military News UA, Ukraine wants to purchase Italian air defense systems and missiles for them with funds from frozen Russian assets, said Deputy Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Anatoly Klochko. So I believe yesterday Vladimir Zelensky met with the Prime Minister of Italy, Giorgia Meloni. So he met with her yesterday, I believe, and I'm pretty sure that's probably one of the major reasons they met. Is it looks like they want to get some air defense systems from Italy, and this came after the Ramstein meeting. Okay, so we know that Zelensky was at Ramstein in Germany holding that major meeting. Soon after that is when he met with Giorgia Meloni. Okay, so it looks like they could potentially be getting some air defense systems from Italy soon. Now for Military News UA, American MRAP Max Pro of Ukrainian military withstood attack of Russian FPV drone in the Donetsk region. So this was a pretty crazy video when I found this. I wanted to show this to you guys. This MRAP, the windshield completely gets destroyed, but it deflects the attack from this FPV drone that came from the Russians as this Ukrainian soldier was driving. So take a look at this. The screen is going to freeze, and then just for a moment here in the middle of your screen, take a look. You're going to see that drone as the screen pauses right before it crashes into the windshield of this MRAP. Take a look.
Плюс, плюс. Ёб твою мать, блядь. Плюс, плюс.
All right, so I'm not sure if you guys caught that, but right there's that FPV drone right before it crashed into the windshield of this MRAP. But the windshield did not completely break, okay? It looks like it did withstand the impact from this drone, so pretty crazy. And I have been hearing that these MRAPs have been very successful for the Ukrainians being used, primarily in the Kursk region. So that's some pretty cool video footage coming out today from Ukraine. All right, so this one's from Jay in Kiev. Yet another Russian oil tanker is now pouring oil into the ocean. This one off the coast of Russia's Taman region, the rusted out Volganev 239. Okay, so once again, we've got another video here of another oil spill. Okay, and this is again more reports that we've been hearing of Russia's oil tankers that they're using to circumvent sanctions and transport oil around the world. These things are completely falling apart. They're 15 plus years old. They're rusted out. They're not safe to be sailing. And this is yet again another major oil spill now being reported very close to Crimea once again. I think this is near the Kerch Bridge, actually, where the Taman region is at. This is on the Russian mainland, but very close to Kerch. Okay, so pretty crazy, guys. It's continuing to happen. And what is the West going to do about this? At some point, I think something needs to be done because these things are just at risk of causing very major environmental harm all over the world. And we had that report yesterday that there was another one of these tankers in the Baltic Sea. And I have this report here with an update. So this thing allegedly lost propulsion. It's another one of these tankers that Russia uses. And it's just drifting off the coast of Germany right now. Take a look at this. The Ukrainian Review. The tanker Edmonton, which lost control in the Baltic Sea and is drifting off the coast of Germany with almost 100,000 tons of oil, is part of Russia's shadow fleet, the use of old vessels in which threatens European security, according to Annalena Baerbock. She's the foreign minister of Germany. At the same time, Baerbock accused Putin of not only circumventing the sanctions imposed on Moscow by cynically, using a fleet of rusty tankers, but also deliberately ensuring that tourism in the Baltic region is under threat. All right, so yeah, imagine the amount of environmental damage and then economic damage also on top of that if one of these other oil tankers were to just completely fall apart or sink or something over in the Baltic Sea. This could definitely threaten lots of marine life and also all the coastal cities that may be utilized for lots of tourism inside of Europe. So definitely a very big problem, okay? And I'm curious to see how the West is going to respond to this. We know that major sanctions were placed on many of these ships just yesterday from the United States. But let's see if NATO takes further action against these oil tankers that are being used, okay? These things are falling apart. All right, now another update coming out from Max 24. The coalition supporting Kyiv must not waver. Ukraine's survival is at stake. Okay, this was a new report coming out today from the U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, and him stating that the coalition needs to continue supporting Ukraine no matter what. We already know that many countries are starting to stand up right now. Even the EU came out yesterday or the day before and also announcing they're going to step up, also continue supporting Ukraine, even if the U.S. pulls support, as we know that this could happen under the Trump administration when he gets into office. We'll see what happens with that, but this was a new statement coming out today from Lloyd Austin. Now, finally, one last thing I want to share with you guys before we get you out of here from the Kyiv Independent. These are the indicative estimates of Russia's combat losses as of January 11th, according to the Armed Forces of Ukraine. All right, so our final update of the day with Russia's losses as of January 11th. 1,570 troops, 18 AFVs, 61 vehicles and fuel tanks, 10 tanks, 28 artillery systems, 74 UAVs, 3 special equipment, and 1 anti-aircraft warfare system. Okay, so lots of losses being reported from the Russian side today, again from the Ukrainians, and tons of big news that I had for you guys today. So I want to thank you so much for being here today. And just a quick update to let you know I will not be here tomorrow. I am off on Sundays, but we will return on Monday, and I do have a few more updates that I will send to you guys later today on Saturday. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you got something out of this update. If you did, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.